Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, it's been a bit of a roller coaster for old Naughty Dog and The Last of Us 2. So this video is just gonna round up how it all started and where we're at now with all the reviews and everything. So let's take a look into this, shall we? So The Last of Us 2 did finally end at a 94 Metacritic. It was at 96, dropped to 95, and now it's 94. It'd be interesting to see it drops below that. We've got a user score of 4.4, which has gone up. But we'll get more into that. But Naughty Dog has gone through a lot of changes and a lot of issues this year, or this generation I should say alone. It started off with claims of sexism at the beginning of the year. It went on at the beginning of the generation, sorry, and then it went on to lots of discomfort and unease in the division entirely, with lots of people leaving. I believe it said up to 70% of their dev team leaving, which is quite a lot. And then there's reports of major writers and developers and that leaving, moving on. There's a lot of problems with the crunch situation, which they do to games. The game had lots of delays. But as sort of a backlash on that, perhaps that's where it led to this. Leaks. Yeah, it had lots of leaks. Firstly, it had the first leaks in April of this year, 2020, and that was then quickly closed up by Sony. Not much was said about it. Originally, they did claim it was a lot of the evidence went to disgruntled employees of Naughty Dog that were really hating on the story development and the changes to the game. Sony come out and Schreier come out and said this is not true, and said it was something else entirely. Then another hack. And they accused of being hackers. And again, this happened then just before the release of the game, probably about a few weeks before the release of the game. An entire leak, the entire game come out just prior to the game launching, which then they said nothing about. I covered a video on this saying I don't believe it was hackers at all. I think it was disgruntled employees. Sony just trying to cover their tracks, really. Naughty Dog just trying to save face, really, before the release of the title. But it was, my belief was down to the changes in the game. This is basically what leaked. Major plot leaks, details, even some cinematic clips from The Last of Us 2. This is what originally happened. And then eventually the whole video was released. The whole game was released. Who leaked? This is the point. They're covering what I said. The exact source of the leak has yet to be determined, but Game Industry Biz reports that it's rumoured to be a result of disgruntled Naughty Dog employees. Update: new information is starting to conflict with the claim that Naughty Dog employee leaked The Last of Us 2 while addressing a thread. Jason Schreier stated, "Folks, I've talked to Naughty Dog. Believe that the leak wasn't actually an employee, though I haven't seen any proof yet." And it goes on to say there is no real proof of, and Sony never come out, or Naughty Dog come out and said who it was. They just said they don't think it was a Naughty Dog employee, basically, with nothing else. And as they go on, the claims they were making didn't seem to add up, and it does seem more likely it was a disgruntled employee. Now, as I said, the game was delayed. Its launch was delayed. I think it was due to release in May, April, May, and was delayed to June. And they did, as it says here, Naughty Dog has misled The Last of Us fans with swapped models. They did drastically change the game before release. Let me quickly dive into this. But this could possibly put more evidence towards it, disgruntled employees and stuff that just didn't like the game, where it was going. Now that The Last of Us is out, it's confirmed that Naughty Dog's marketing claims didn't turn out to be truthful to gamers. The Last of Us 2 false advertising has been spotted as Naughty Dog has purposely replaced character models to mislead fans. Warned all this story filled with spoilers. Right, I already covered the spoilers, but they do this in films a lot. They done it with Endgame, when the characters are walking up to look in the ship. They are missing what characters are doing that, and they do kindly slightly edit things in movies. I've never really seen much of this in games. However, this, I think what's really sort of more crude about this is that they actually have Joe into the trailer clips and pictures and stuff further on in the game when he's not in it at all. Now that I think is a bit more misleading because they give the assumption that people will be playing him. So back in 2016, Naughty Dog debuted The Last of Us 2 trailer. In it we saw Ellie covered in blood and playing guitar with an old man version of Joel making an appearance at the end, which is what happened. So this gives to the evidence that he's in the game and he's about, you're going to be playing him, la la la. And as it is, he's the fan favourite of a lot of people. He's basically like people's Master Chief, so to speak. Let's scroll down further. Of course, being 4 years old now, the development of The Last of Us 2 likely went through a lot of changes. In fact, the scene is no longer present in the final build of the game, which shouldn't come much as a surprise considering that is just a teaser, which I agree with. However, the teaser originally implied that Joel had a much bigger involvement in the main campaign. This is in fact actually backed up by evidence, as the studio had marked Joel to be far more involved in the later portions of the story. So I don't know if you guys have played it. Everyone would know by now. Joe does get killed very early on in the game. So that's the only spoiler I'm going to give. But I don't think there's a spoiler at this point anymore. So they've got various clips here where he's in the trailer, and they show him grabbing Ellie, and then he's saying that she's not going to go at it alone. He will help her out. Then they completely replace him with that character. So at first it's him. That's in the original trailer, and then they switch it out with him. And as you can see there, he's a much older Joel. It's the same line and the same scene, as you can see in both backgrounds, the very same staircase. Only difference is Joel is absent. The trailer isn't even that old either. It was published just 8 months back and was the official release date. Which was later delayed, meaning the game had only been less than 5 months away from release when this trailer was published. Trailer, actual game, there we go. This isn't the only instance Naughty Dog has replaced character models, and in fact they did so less than a month back with an official story trailer. A good chunk of scenes featuring Joel show him as an older version of Ellie. It's only a month before release. They showed him playing guitar and he's looking older. And here's some more screenshots, back that up. 2020 story trailer. There he is there. Final game. Boom. You can see a clear difference in age. Story trailer. Let's go in there, look. Bop. And even Ellie. She's looking older and then younger. And there you go. You can see clearly there. He looks older in the trailer, and then final game he looks younger. You have to say this is most definitely not good for Naughty Dog's part, as it is clear that the scenes are portrayed as completely different. One clearly takes place in the present, while the other is a flashback. But it's clear that both characters differ in their ages. We aren't sure why Naughty Dog decided to make these edits, but no doubt they are clearly misleading. Perhaps it was to hide some of the story spoilers. Either way, this isn't going to sit well with many, as it comes off as it advertised in a different game due to the characters' age differences in each scene. Although the main focus is on the scene from 8 months back, where Joe has been replaced entirely, the implication that the scene provides is that Joe would be helping Ellie along her journey. But as we know from the start of the game, this wasn't the case at all. So there we go, and that could possibly lead to a lot of the people leaving Naughty Dog, because a lot of them were displeased by the game, and no doubt as revenge they leaked it. So moving forward, the game obviously releases. It scores a 96 meta. It is widely praised. IGN give it a 10 out of 10, as many do. I've never put much faith in Metacritic, as people when you watch the channel know. I think it's basically just a shambles of a review site, really. They monopolise who they want to give reviews to and who they don't. I mean, this game has 106 critic reviews. Xbox games only get sort of 50 reviews. I don't know why there's such a disparity there between the two, why one can have more reviews than the other. It completely unbalances the overall score of games and stuff. And then obviously a lot of people giving it a 10 out of 10, including IGN. IGN at the moment are having their own problems now. which sort of leads me to why I don't trust Metacritic at all. It's a broken system, which they only show reviews. Let me move on to waffle on about IGN. I figured I might as well just show you. Mitch Dyer used to work at IGN. Another person who used to work at IGN who recently come out and said the whole place is a big shambles and a mess. It's all very biased, and they're ruled and by an iron thumb, and basically kept down. Solidarity with my IGN co-workers who endured emotional terror from Tara Blevins and Steve Butts. In my time from 2020 to 2016, I felt taken advantage of, exploited and manipulated, and afraid for my job at nearly every turn, as I was one of the lucky ones working for them. And he goes on to basically saying the greed and stuff of IGN, taking money and stuff like that from different people and stuff for reviews, basically. So in a nutshell, IGN were basically clickbaiters. They would literally make up stories and do whatever it takes just to get clicks for their channels and stuff. Mitch Dyer, these are the guys who would later publish a story on IGN.com stating The Last Guardian is cancelled. When we confronted them about publishing an unsubstantiated story, hilariously bullshit, without consulting the news team, they said you should have chased this. Because it was complete lie, and Sony went back and told them, well, the game's not cancelled, in which they made another story saying the game isn't cancelled, I believe, and then got more clickbait, more clicks and stuff for their channel. They're a completely clickbait network. So the tweets go on, and basically he says there was a sort of relationship between Sony over Xbox. They would favour Sony over Xbox, and which obviously got people's backs up and started questioning that, and rightfully so, which is what takes me back to Metacritic and my whole point about the whole thing that I've had for years. As I said, taking into account that we know IGN now a little biased, and they do score pretty much all Sony games first party titles a 10 out of 10, and this is what caused the backlash now, because people now playing the game and said this is not a 10 out of 10 game. Some may say that, but the majority of people are saying this is not a 10 out of 10. Actually, people on YouTube, there's reports of people having their videos banned and blocked and deleted by Sony that have scored it 6s and 7s. They're not rating the game at all, which I'll go in. So looking at these, I mean, could this explain why Sony has 100 more critics on their games than Xbox or even PC? Do they buy some of these? I mean, we can't really know who half these people are. They're just randoms all pop up on Sony games. You get so many things I never heard of. Let's ignore the ones that are clearly PlayStation ones. I'm just looking at just who always score their games 10 out of 10. I'm just looking at all the other randoms. I mean, at the end of the day, Sony's, some people do like to believe it, but Sony's not innocent at all. In fact, very recently, Sony were fined $3.5 million for misleading Australian consumers, which they call PlayStation. And that was only the 5th of June of this year. So Sony was sued $3.5 million for misleading their gamers. Let's recall that only in 2005, Sony was sued for fake reviews of their movies. At the time, the movies was basically their leading platform, their leading division. Since that has declined, and now it's PlayStation, the games and stuff. So is it really crazy to think that they would pay fake critics to review their games just like they did their movies? I mean, it's big money in this. In the game industry now, is massive, far bigger than movies. So on the grand scheme of things, is it wrong to assume PlayStation, that is now Sony's cash cow? A lot of the studios divisions are closing, and not make, or the ones that are still up are not making anywhere near the money they used to make. Their electronics, their movies, their phones. PlayStation is their main cash cow now. Would it be wrong to assume that that they don't pay for any other reviews? They don't buy anyone else like they have done in the past? Is that ignorant? Or is there some truth to that now? Now IGN have come out. Even if you put that aside, favouring Sony over Xbox, which have said, who's to say these are not clickbaits? Just like IGN, the biggest of them all, have come out and said they The guy said they do clickbait. They're there just for the clicks, solely for the clicks. They don't care about you. They're there for the clicks. Who's to say, well, these are the same? You know, why wouldn't you want income coming in to your channel? That's what you are based on. So do these people all there for the clicks? I'm sure a lot of them don't, but you just get this is why Sony games get twice as many reviews as Xbox games. You get all weird things coming up and just scoring hundreds. You could say the game is a 10 out of 10 game and it's worth it to you, but there is so much backlash, it is hard to ignore. The interesting thing about this is IGN scored it 10 out of 10, whereas the Japanese IGN scored it only 7 out of 10 and gave a more grounded review. Ironically, digitally downloaded, I just stopped on, they scored No Man's Sky a 10 out of 10, saying it's the best flight simulator game they've ever played. It's amazing. Basically, they said it's a masterpiece. They called No Man's Sky at launch, if you'll recall the issues of that game and the content it was missing, a masterpiece, and gave that also a 10 out of 10. Now they've given Last of Us 2 a 10 out of 10. This is my problem with the whole scoring games out of 10 issue. There should be a much better system to it. It's dated. I created a system to it ages ago. That's another story. But don't just take it from me. Let's look at some of the reactions we're getting from the gamers.
I don't understand. Oh my god, are they gonna fucking kill Ellie next? What the fuck is going on here? I got so many questions.
Oh my god. Ellie? Ellie.
I don't...
I'm sorry.
I don't wanna play anymore. What is happening? No. Oh my god. In the shower.
You both live. And you wasted it.
Tell me, do something. Chew on her ankle. F in the chat for Eugene. I was like, oh, he's being really sweet. This is a wholesome moment. That means he's gonna die. But it would happen very quick in this game.
Dad!
Oh no. Fuck this. Fuck
Dad!
this. I don't give a fuck. No. No. You do not. No. No. Well, maybe now we get to find out how she got so fucking strong.
Dad!
Alright, can I pick up the gun and shoot myself? How do I do that? End this now. I can change this. How do I do it? I just pick up the gun, bitch. Alright, let's find a cliff I can jump off of. Okay, let's try this. See if I can jump off here. This might be high enough. I didn't die. Okay. Maybe climb a tree? Maybe if I hit my head in this? Look, she can't even crawl under.
Dad, come on! Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up! Please stop! Please don't shoot! Joel, please get up! No!
Who the fuck is this guy? Is that Neil Druckmann?
How did she convince
Neil
these
Druckmann's
guys?
character?
That is Neil Druckmann's character.
Oh,
You can
piece
tell
of
'cause
shit. Yeah, fuck him. Fuck this game. Fuck this stupid fucking story. This is such a stupid... It's okay, I understand you gotta take Joel out. I mean, you don't have to take Joel out, but if you're gonna take Joel out, there's certain ways to fucking do it. And this is not one. And and we're gonna play as Abby some more? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
No,
I
fuck
don't
Abby.
want
I don't want to play
Abby.
as this. This is exactly as I thought it was. Fuck this. It's exactly how they said it was gonna be.
일단 개같은 개연 스토리와 연출의 지문과 평점이 높다는 게 진짜 이해가 안 간다. 병신겜.
So take from that as you will. There is loads of those reactions across the internet. Loads of people disliking the game. There are people that like the game. I'm not going to say everyone hates it, but it's looking like the vast majority. You can see all the comments on all the channels everywhere. I mean, Pi Die Hi, whatever his name is. You can see all the comments and see he has millions of followers, a stupid amount of subs. Majority of them are hating on the game, as are all across the board YouTubers. Some are even coming out and showing that Neil Druckmann's even placed himself in the game, and he's supposed to be the one that spits on Joel when he's dead. What is that? Is that like a goodbye, I hate you kind of thing? Is this why the devs quit? Is this why they was disgruntled and leaked the game? And prior to Last of Us 2 releasing, he has talked about The Last of Us Part 3. He does want to carry on the franchise because, I mean, they've already they are working on a TV series for The Last of Us. How would you feel about a TV series with Joel in, but he's dead? Or the hate the game's getting at the moment? Who would be actually interested in TV series? Where's this stand for TV series? Is this more evidence that they had no plan of killing him? I mean, to make a series with him in it and then suddenly kill him at short notice, is this sort of more evidence that they had no plan of originally wiping him out? It's just something that come to light recently. And why? That's the question. Why, if that is the case? And most worryingly is this. This is what I am more concerned about. The Last of Us 2 petition demands dramatic story alterations. Thousands have already signed it. This story broke yesterday. Yes, they want to drastically change the story because it's considered extremely bad. Yeah, it's got a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. This is the thing that concerns me most, because Sony right now, seeing this news, won't be upset at all. They will be thinking, ching ching, wow, yes, let's do it. And I totally 100% now see, if not already planned, if not, this is why they changed the story at the end, because they've actually got the original story. A cynical person would probably think that, and that's me, because I like to see everything from all angles. I would hate to see a PS5 remastered The Last of Us 2 with an alternate ending, £60, dropping next year. That would be so anti-consumer and awful in its entirety. If they release a remastered alternate ending version of this game next year for PS5, that would be terrible. And what's horrible, because it will sell well, everyone will flock to buy it again, the same game, just as they did with The Last of Us on the PS4 remaster. They all bought The Last of Us 1 and then bought it again, a remastered version, which I think is absolute shambles. Why people do that? The game would have been a year old and they bought the remastered version. Sony loves selling remasters, loves making money for old games. They're not very consumer friendly when it comes to backwards compatibility at all, because they don't think it's much of an income compared to just selling remasters at full price. This would be so anti-consumer. It's not worth thinking about. If they do it, it'll be awful, and I'll most definitely do a story on this. So I'm already predicting that there will be a PS5 remastered Last of Us 2 alternate ending, if it's not already in the works. I mean, if you look at this new Spider-Man game that's going to be launching on the PS5, that looks like it's just delayed DLC from the PS4. They've held it back to release as a new game for the PS5, even though it's just DLC. So it's really short. They've already said it's not even half the size. It's smaller than half the size of the original game and has half the content. And they've just launched that as a game. I totally see this happening. What are your thoughts? Please share this out. Comment below what your thoughts on the whole thing is. It'd be great to hear your input. Thank you all for watching.